If you were around last crypto bull run, you will be completely aware of the face melting rip that Dogecoin went on. And you might think that it might be impossible to find another trade like that. However, today, guys, I'm going to tell you about what potentially might be the next Doge, and it might not be what you think, because Nero, if you weren't aware, had a crazy week, but we're going to cover that a little bit, but some other things in that family that may be a better alternative, may potentially have more upside. We're going to find out if you stick around to the end of this video. And without further ado, guys, let's get into it. We have had one hell of a week in the crypto markets. You know, everything from Bitcoin as strategic reserve to who Kamala Harris might pick as VP and their stance on crypto. So we're going to get into all of that and more, as well as the ETH ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, how they're doing, what expectations are there. So let's get into it, guys. As we can see over here, Bitcoin, of course, as I said before, I didn't expect it to pop up anytime soon. Remember, I thought we were 30 days away from the ETH ETF approval and start trading until we see all-time highs again, 30, 45 days. And of course, we almost we did touch, just about touch 70,000, kissed it, and came back down, rejected at 70,000, kind of as I expected that we would be. Now, one of the things that caused some fear at that $70,000 mark is at the exact same time, the US government moved $2 billion to a new address, and that is now, we know there's a Coinbase address. So are they going to, are they looking to sell it? Are they looking to, custody it? Well, they're definitely looking to custody it. But there was another article that came up somewhere saying that in this kind of outline that the US Marshals laid out was talking about custody and as also the ability to be able to sell or liquidate positions as well. I'm not going to read this for you, but it says in here, when you talk about liquidations and things like that, it's all outlined here. So we don't know, right? And could this be a reaction from the Democrats of Trump's announcement at Bitcoin Nashville? Most likely, right? But as you can see, the Bitcoin blockchain is working exactly as it's supposed to transfer $2 billion in assets cost only 66 cents. That's mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing and unlike anything the world has ever seen before. And Woo Blockchain says, according to Axios, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala is considering Michigan Senator Gary Peters as a running mate. Stand with Crypto said Peters is strongly opposed to cryptocurrency and he co-sponsored the digital asset money laundering. So good luck. I mean, I don't think she's going to win any of the crypto votes anyway, Kamala, but this would make it absolutely highly unlikely that she'd get one vote from the tens of millions of Americans that are holding cryptocurrency. And of course, you guys, if you haven't seen the speech from Trump from RFK at Bitcoin Nashville, I suggest that you go check that out. It was very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. So yeah, as we saw, Trump wants to take that $200,000, the 200,000 Bitcoin that is custodied or transferred over from the US Marshals that they confiscated, I forget from where, and he wants to put that as a strategic reserve. Whereas RFK said that he wants to take and buy $55 million a day or something like that until the United States has 4 million Bitcoin, which would put it in the $100 trillion or something crazy like that market cap. Absolutely mind-blowing. If we can vote for RFK, I mean, I suggest that you go watch that speech, the two of them. RFK obviously knows Bitcoin a lot better, much more bullish for our space. If he was elected, he says that he told Trump also that, or talked about Trump wanting to, get Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink as treasurer, and where RFK said it'd be much better if we had someone like Cynthia Loomis, crypto mom, or someone like Michael Saylor as treasurer, which obviously is a much, much better position as they are obviously very pro crypto or pro Bitcoin as well. And to recap his speech, again, he said that it would make the US the Bitcoin capital of the world or crypto capital of the world. Bitcoin is strategic reserve for the United States. Fire Gary Gensler on day one. And his views on stablecoins are pro-dollar to end Operation Choke Point. Stop. This is like the big one for all the altcoin projects I talked to. Everyone's so afraid of getting a Wells notice from the SEC, but that would be nice. And I tell projects that I'm advising right now, don't worry about the SEC, as more than likely their reign has come to an end. And Trump wants to bring Bitcoin mining to the United States and produce all Bitcoin in the United States. DeFi Investor says, this is very interesting. Of course, Hong Kong is considering adding BTC to its Federal Reserve as a reserve asset as well. Again, these are just the first dominoes to fall. I expect to see in 2025 many countries, many states adding Bitcoin to the Federal Reserve, skyrocketing the price. Remember, the supply shock is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. There's very little Bitcoin actually in circulation right now, and everyone starts gobbling it up in their strategic reserve. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to absolutely skyrocket the price of Bitcoin. Now, we've talked about this before last week. Michigan, Wisconsin, New Jersey City, all adding Bitcoin to their strategic reserve or the pension funds, whatever. And this is, again, just first dominoes to fall, as I believe the whole world will watch and follow next. So Bitcoin ETF flows, we saw another positive day, the last 3 days in a row, positive, not by a lot. Grayscale still coming out a little bit, being the major seller of all of them, as everyone else is net neutral or positive, and more money coming in, just massive amounts of money coming in from institutions into Bitcoin right now. ETH ETF, not so much, but right now I think expect this to kind of, maybe they're being a little conservative while Grayscale continues to hemorrhage out, as they've been doing massive amounts. But remember, there's not a whole lot here that Grayscale is going to put out. They've already dropped almost $2 billion, which puts them probably right around, I expect maybe another $2 billion from them. So maybe double what has come out so far. So let's think maybe another week, 2 weeks max, and then we start to see some more certainty within the market, which the market loves certainty. So I expect for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of chop solidation, sideways movement, and before we get kind of confirmation and things are moving up aggressively. As you can see, ETH is recovering quite nicely from the sell-off the other day. This is, again, probably from the US Marshals announcement of moving $2 billion of Bitcoin. Yes, it affected the entire market. We had a sell-off, but it's picking back up. Again, this is probably people just understanding that, and I'll show you a video later why it's probably a really bullish thing to get into Ethereum, although we're still Solana. We still have a preference to Solana, but when it comes to blue chips, I think Ethereum is still a really good play to be had, just because institutions will continue to pile in there. And US dominance and Bitcoin dominance are starting to come to a convergence over here. When we see this happening, when US dominance drops down and Bitcoin dominance pumps up, remember, it could be Bitcoin dominance first, then like Ethereum, and then altcoins, and then major caps, mid caps, low caps, micro caps. That's the rotation of capital, how things and how attention focuses on the industry. And a lot of people are watching my videos and saying that, like, oh, I hate meme coins and blah, blah, blah. When are we going to focus on quality? Well, absolutely. I really want to focus on quality projects and talk about them. But right now, there's just not enough liquidity into the market. And we're all sitting here in a giant echo chamber, right? And until new liquidity comes into the market, we're not going to see major moves on altcoins yet, right? And so when that time comes, we will be talking about them, trust me. But until then, we're going to talk about the things that have potential to make you some X's right now in the market. And that is not going to be your traditional altcoins. It's going to be Bitcoin continues to pump, maybe Ethereum pretty soon. Again, major caps, and the shitcoin casino, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. So we might as well make money, or at least try to make money doing that as well. And as you can see, Benjamin Cowan over here had its biggest weekly close all cycle for Bitcoin. Biggest weekly close all cycle for Bitcoin. Obviously, very bullish on Bitcoin right now, as it's going to become a world reserve asset. I've been saying that for a long time, since like 2015, guys. I'm very confident that, obviously more now than ever. And a really good just piece of advice here for you guys, as Chifra T says over here: buy altcoins in Bitcoin season now and sell them in alt season. So it is a good. Let me know, guys, in the comments below if you'd like me to make a video on like non-meme coin, solid, high quality altcoin projects that we should talk about, of what we're looking to acquire right now while they're highly discounted before we think they're going to pop off in the altcoin season. Are you looking to position right now? If you do position right now, let me know all this in the comments below. If you do position right now, are you going to be aggravated that you bought some sort of altcoin right now and it still doesn't do much price action for the next 3 or 4 months? And if that's the case, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we'll make a video on that. But you have to understand that if you buy these discounted altcoins right now, the quality ones, we might not see them pump for at least 2 to 4 months, right? Just understand that. So this is an interesting video, the clip I was talking about earlier from BlackRock, and let's take a listen over here. It's really important.
I am curious. I mean, you've got Bitcoin, you've got Ether, you're leading the market there.
This lady's from BlackRock, by the way.
Are you done? Are we going to see a BlackRock Solana ETF, for example? What's next?
Not in the near term. So we really look at the investability to see what meets the criteria, what meets the bar to be delivered in an ETF. And for us right now, both between investability considerations and also what we hear from our clients, Bitcoin and ETH definitely meet that bar. I think it will be a while before we see anything else.
And I am curious.
So there you go. So as I've been saying, guys, I don't think Solana is going to have an ETF anytime soon. This here is a confirmation directly from BlackRock. Doesn't mean that we should be bearish. It just means that, well, obviously we've proven that Solana can pump on its own without an ETF, obviously. And so when it does get one, imagine that pump to be insane, astronomical. So Matt Williamson over here says it seems important. Basically what he's talking about here is these tokens were specifically mentioned as not to be pursued by the SEC anymore. Very bullish to see the SEC standing down and continuing to cease the Operation Choke Point 2.0. Very, very good. Definitely a political thing, but we'll take it, right? We'll take it as a win. Solana, Cardano, Matic, Filecoin, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algo, Axie, and Coty. I showed you this chart the other day, right? And we saw ETH still had more mindshare than Solana, but now you see Solana flipping ETH and mindshare. Guys, we've been talking about Solana since like $16 on this channel, 8, 9, 10 months ago, whatever it was. And now it's approaching $190, something like that, 200, coming up on 200 very soon here. So congratulations. If you were doing that, you've got 15, 20x or whatever it is, 15x by now. And I expect that to see at least another 4 or 5x in this bull run. And you can see crypto money flows, Solana dominance and Bitcoin dominance way outperforming SUI, BNB, or ETH. That just shows you where the mind share is and where the money's going. Solana ETH chart, obviously, bam, about to break this all-time high here. And we know that when we break these resistance levels, it goes into price discovery and just continues to rocket up. And there's no telling, there's not a lot of TA up there to understand how high it can absolutely go because it's in uncharted territories. So Solana in the last 24 hours, as Gumshoe says, Jito Labs becomes the top fee-generating protocol across all blockchains, flips Lido, right? I think this is the Solana staking platform. Pump.fun flips Ethereum blockchain and revenues, and Solana just crushing, does 1 billion DEX volume, 1 billion more. Absolutely destroying. So the writing is on the wall of where you guys should be paying attention, obviously, here. And just a couple weeks ago, I talked about Jupiter, creativity, like doing things the right way, in my opinion. So at 76 cents, and as we can see right now, it's at 110, but just a few hours ago before a little correction, it was at $1.20, right? So you were up like 80% since we talked about it, whatever it was. Additionally, we expect to see a 30% supply reduction in Jupiter tokens. This is probably what most people are going to be doing, is burning supply in order to get that circulating market cap closer to fully diluted valuation, which makes a lot of sense. Now, I mentioned this just a little bit ago, but as I put on my X account, if you guys aren't following me on X, you should be doing that. You could have made a huge, massive trade the other night over the weekend. And I said, I'm looking at meme coins very closely. People comment on my YouTube videos, either praising the meme coins or hating the video. Either way, the question I am to answer daily is, how can you make money right now? This is where capital is flowing like no other place. And I will show you the gems, right? And so it's more for a trading mindset, obviously. Like most of these things aren't long-term, but however, we're not talking about a bunch of different meme coins. We're trying to focus in and see what do we believe the winners to be, right? And we're going to hit some, we're going to miss some, but I've given you guys some ones that have done extremely well, some 100Xs, some 50Xs so far. And I haven't given you a tremendous amount. Most of the ones that we talk about, obviously not all of them, do hit, right? We have a pretty high hit rate. So W3Q over here continues to be the case. Talking about Solana, Billy, Selfie, Popcat, Whiff, Bonk, all things that we've talked about before. Holder counts are growing pretty significantly as people are looking to kind of pile into the more blue chip meme coins, if you will. And as you can see here over here, meme coin super cycle, the Doge coins are still winning by far. However, you do have cat coins coming up. And do you think cat season is going to come? Now, remember, cat season is kind of a newer idea of the past couple months. But is that a narrative that's going to be evolving as new retail comes into the space? Probably, right? Probably everyone wants to bet on an underdog. Everyone wants to make the most gains possible. So we've never seen a cat season before other than the past couple of months. And we're starting to see that right now. So can we look for some cats to participate in? And as you can see over here on top, cat themed meme coins by market cap, and the aggregate value of all of the micro cap or the market cap of cats is only 2.9 billion, which is like just around the same as WIF alone, right? So obviously way smaller market cap, which means there's more risk. It also means there's more upside potential in the cat coins than there is in dog coins potentially, right? And Lil Bub, we talked about this recently, right? But look at this chart, looks incredibly bullish, right? We talked about it, I think over here or something like that. And we're up quite a bit since we talked about it. As you remember, I talked about it over here. My guess is that there's some relationship potentially building between the actual real Lil Bub and the community takeover of the meme. And exactly as I called the other day, it's true. You do have the official account of Little Bub supporting the Little Bub meme coin, right? And so I called this other day. I said, I believe this is to be the case. And the official account that has 800 and something thousand is actually now following and supporting Little Bub over here, the meme coin. And I think that's the reason, because it has 3 million followers or something across different socials. And that's a pretty good reach to normies who are looking for something. So Little Bub doing quite well. Now Dogecoin, obviously, if you look at the max timeline, and we had this crazy run up over here, in 2021, we're looking to repeat something like that. What could catch the bid? Well, if we look over here at the lady who had the original Dogecoin, Koboasu, of course, over the weekend, she made this post about Nero, who's her new Doge, right? So the new Dogecoin is Nero. Now, Nero has been a crazy thing over the weekend. I chimed in a little bit on my X account, but as you can see, it was a crazy kind of launch where you had 2 Neros launching, and one of them was the first one to launch, which the contract ends in bro pump, which is launch first, healthy, fair, and legit, Nero, Solana, Doge. And this is the contract address over here, CTG3Z. And then you have this other one, contract ends in UL, think you lose, launch second, launch with pump bundler. And this was a Nero Sol and Nero Solana Doge. And as you can see, there was around 5 wallets worth over $1 million without buying on pump equals bundled wallets, who with organized bots take profit, cashing out over 1 million USDC off bridging off Solana, hence dumping as just an extractive beta. And this is why I came in and chimed in, because I hate to see this personally. This is the actual first Nero. Now, it's not doing so well, only at a $10 million valuation. However, it's a much, much healthier distribution. You have a much larger actual community where you got 9,000 followers on Nero. And you have this other one that was ran as kind of a cabal that's sitting here at 58 million right now. However, they got similar trading volumes. But the difference is right now that you've got only 2,061 followers, or 2,650 followers on X. So it's much more cabal ran, insiders. Ansem was shilling this one. And as you can see over here, Bubble Map says the dev of Nero still holds 6%. This is the Nero, this one, right? And still holds a massive amount and has already made a killing, essentially, over here. As you can see, he bought from multiple addresses, not only this address, but and currently owns 10 huge bags of Nero. Currently has made $3.3 million dumping, as you can see all these red things over here. And basically Ansem made him retire because Ansem decided to get involved in here. Why? Probably was paid to do it. There's no other reason why you would get inside of some cabal right here where the dev is just, where you know that the dev is selling on the community, yet you're pumping this thing anyway, and you don't care because you help the dev who gave you some free tokens probably making all this money, which I think is actually a horrible thing. This is why, even though this one has less market cap right now, I still think though that the community is stronger on this one. And I'm not saying to buy this one. I'm not really betting heavily on either of these things right now, but I do think though that potentially in the long run, this thing might be better as there wasn't massive insider selling, dumping on all their followers, that kind of stuff. Now, I just hope in my heart of hearts that something like this outperforms the thing that has completely extracted value, dumping on everybody while getting influencers to pump it. For me, that's just something that I don't want to support. I don't like that behavior. As you can see, there is this thing now on Poly Markets. The fact that it even talks about Ansem having criminal charges in 2024 is something to be aware of. Just something to be aware of. That's all. The solstice, cat cycle, you already know that approximately 5 plus are going to make it to billions. You don't think one of those is going to be Ginnan, Doge's sister? Pass me some of those rocks you're smoking. 4,600 to SHIB, all-time high, not unreasonable for the cat of the super cycle. So here's the first kind of piece of alpha. Again, this is the interview with the lady who owns the Dogecoin doggies, or now Nero dog. And she said, the interview says, do you have any other pets? And it says, we have 3 cats. Tsutsuji, 9 years old, Ginnan, 8 years old, and Onigiri, 2 years old. The 4 of them get along very, very well. And as you can see over here, we've got Ginnan over here as the leader right now in the Doge family's cats. And you see the market cap over here at 29.24 million. Pretty good. Like that's not bad, right? And volume is, where are we at volume? 17.6 million, doing pretty good, doing pretty healthy. If we zoom out a little bit, the chart looks very, very nice, actually. Very nice, very healthy. It's not brand new. It's not super old either. And the other cat that you have is here is Tsutsuji. Tsutsuji. I don't know how to pronounce that. If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. And this thing is just got launched yesterday at a $352,000 market cap. You know, very risky, of course, not doing a whole lot, and very, 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 very new, right? Very risky, very new. But asymmetric risk as a $353,000 market cap is very low. The chart seems very steady, but there's very little holders right now. There's very little liquidity. Like, it's very risky, but I did put a little chunk into this one so far, as the upside is massive potential. And yes, I did talk to you guys about the Church of Smoking Fish. Now they dropped their merch store, and this thing has been on an absolute rip right now, sitting at almost $90 million FTV. This thing doesn't have 50 copycats. It's completely unique in its own right. And it's proven to be something that is going very, very viral. $25 million in trading volume in the last 24 hours. I'm becoming more and more bullish on like the thing that is just absolutely the weirdest thing in crypto. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.